Hi everybody, thank you for your interest in the Pickerington Schools Virtual Learning Academy. This is going to be a short orientation to give you kind of an overview of what the Virtual Learning Academy is here at Pickerington Schools. My name is Brian Seymour and I am the Executive Director of Instructional Technology as well as the Principal for the Virtual Learning Academy. I've been in Pickerington for 21 years. I'm a former high school science teacher, instructional coach, curriculum advisor, and now Executive Director of Instructional Technology. So along with myself, we do have a small staff of other individuals that will be a part of the Virtual Learning Academy. We have Miss Alicia Myers, who is going to be mostly taking care of grades 1 through 6. She will serve as a liaison between the vendor that we use called Edmentum and Pickerington Schools. We also have Mrs. Kelly Williams, who is a special education teacher that will be dealing with grades 1 through 8. We also have the Pickerington Alternative School mentors. So we have 4 PLSD teachers that will serve as part-time VLA mentors for their core subject areas, math, science, social studies, and language arts. We have Miss Melissa Nelson, who is a full-time VLA special education teacher for grades 9 through 12. And then as well, we also have our Edmentum and Apex teachers. These are the teachers that are actually going to be doing the instruction for the course, and we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a minute. I do want to caution folks, back in 2021 school year, we had about 1,800 kids in the Virtual Learning Academy. This VLA now is drastically different than that VLA. So if you are a part of that, do not expect the same thing. It is nowhere close to being the same thing. So what is the VLA for the 22-23 school year? Most of the courses are self-paced. Kids will be learning at their own type of pace, going through the material as fast or as slow as they need to, as long as they get done by the end of the semester. We do have some caveats with that though. Most of the course is self-learned, which means especially at grades 6 through 12, there is not a teacher. There is not a teacher doing Zoom lessons or Google Meet lessons or anything like that. Most of it is you're going through the material, going through the program at your own pace. Teacher access is limited, especially at grades 6 through 12. You do not have full access to a teacher. You do not have anytime access to a teacher. It may take hours to even 48 hours to get communication back. Most of the communication is done through email. Parent support is a must. This is not a type of a program where you can just tell your kid, hey, get on this in the morning, I'll see you after work, and you hope they have it done. It does not work, and it's not effective that way. In grades 1 through 8, the VLA is fully virtual. In grades 9 through 12, it's partially virtual. Students have to come in to the high schools for their electives at grades 9 through 12. The curriculum that we use, it's different than what's being used in our in-person schools. We do have Edmentum, which is a vendor, curriculum vendor for grades 1 through 5. And then we have Apex Learning, which is our curriculum vendor for grades 7 through 12. So with the Edmentum, once again, grades 1 through 5, all students will get all 4 of the core courses, so math, ELA, science, and social studies. They will also get an art class and a physical education class. All of the work is online. And at the Edmentum level, grades 1 through 5, they will have daily Zoom calls for their 4 core areas. So those calls are anywhere between 15 to 25 minutes, depending, and there's a range of times, usually between like 10 and 3 o'clock, that students can be able to get on there and choose what their schedule actually looks like. It does require students to log in on a daily basis. Students will be attending those Zoom calls, and you need to keep up with the pacing guide. Even though this course is self-paced, if students do not keep up with the pacing guides or the recommended calendars, it is very hard for them to dig out. So I would not recommend disappearing for a couple days or anything like that. I would recommend that we need to log in on a daily basis and continue moving forward. Here's just some screenshots of what Edmentum looks like. Each one of these different tiles is a different course. Kids can click on those. They go into the course. It gives a schedule. Every one of those blue underlined items there is a link to one of the assignments. And as you can see, it kind of goes across and then down by the different subjects that students would have. Once you get into the course, here's what a course looks like. You can see the different assignments listed down below there, and then you can see the scores and pieces above of there as well. So grades 6 through 12 uses Apex Learning. Apex Learning and Edmentum are basically the same company, just different products at different levels. Every single one of our students at grades 6 through 12 will have a math, ELA, science, and social studies class. All of the work, again, is done online, but with Apex, there is no Zoom meetings, there is no Google Meets at all, so there is no teacher that's actually teaching the material. And we, unfortunately, at Pickerington do not have the staff to be able to support that either, so everything is basically going to be done on their own, students learning type things. We do ask, though, that all of our tests be proctored, and those are done by the PAS mentors. So students will then complete a real quick calendar invite, and with that, students will then sign up for a time. Students will get onto Google Meet. They'll be proctored by the PAS teachers, so that way we can just make sure that there's no cheating or anything going on with tests. We have found out that the curriculum in Apex is very text heavy. There's a lot of reading that goes on. It's also a lot of reading at grade level. So if your student struggles, there's no way for me to give them a lower level of reading material or anything like that. They have to be able to read what the material is through the curriculum. Once again, does require students to log in on a daily basis, does require us to keep up with the pacing guides, and we need to schedule those tests. We have found, again, if students fall behind on these assignments, it is incredibly hard for them to dig out throughout this. They do give a really nice calendar of exactly what should be done for every week, and as long as you can keep up with that, everything will be appropriate, and you'll be able to get done by the end of the semester. Just a few things here. This is what the dashboard looks like. So every student will get a different course, and on this course it'll have teacher information of who the Apex teachers are. It'll also give different types of grades, as you can see here. Also, you can see overdue activities. So you don't want to see that red box. That red box now says this student has 24 overdue assignments, which is not good at all. Also allows us to see when the last access, when the student last logged in, and how much total time they've spent on the course. All right, so you can see all those pieces there. This also shows every single assignment. You will have access to every single assignment for the course in Apex right as soon as you get in. And if you wanted to, you could knock the course out in 2 months if you really wanted to. We had some students this past first semester that were done with their first semester work by Thanksgiving. And that's perfectly fine if you want. The problem is you don't want to go the other route because there's no way that we can extend the semester at all. So you want to make sure you get everything done in time. Here's kind of what the inside of the program. So this is English 9. And as you can see, if you get into it, you'll have some readings, you'll have some videos, you'll have some interaction with the programs and things like that. And then obviously all of those different assignments that need to be completed as well. So thinking about high school and the high school electives, all high school students must have a minimum of 5 classes. Unfortunately, with the number of electives that we have at our high school, we're not able to offer electives through virtual methods. So all high school electives will be taught in person at the home building. There is no way around this. All students have to have a minimum of 5 classes, so your student will be coming into the high school for at least a minimum of 1 class. All right. Failure to come in for that 1 elective will result in removal from the VLA. So this is part of it. Parents are also responsible for transportation. We are going to try our best, if you're asking for more than 1 elective, to chunk those together so they're back to back. So then that way the student doesn't have to come and go and those types of things. Some things to think about as you're contemplating, is this the right program for my student? Once again, we can only give grade level content. So if looking at iReady scores or anything like that, if they are behind by a grade level or 2, think about that in their math or ELA. We cannot modify the curriculum because, once again, this is Apex and Edmentum's curriculum, not necessarily Pickerington School's curriculum. All of the courses are self-paced. Students will be working through them at their own pace. We need students that are self-disciplined. This takes a little bit more effort and energy than a traditional school because there is not that teacher that's kind of overseeing and looking over your shoulder. Our special education services are limited. Yes, we still do have the 2 special education teachers, but there are some things that we just cannot do on a virtual method, and those things will be covered if your student has a 504 and IEP. Those things will be covered by our special education teachers. Once again, there's little to no teacher interaction. So you will not necessarily have a teacher that will be there all the time, or a teacher that can answer questions right away, or at the 6th through 12th grade levels, a teacher that's going to be doing any type of instruction at all. And most of it is going to be done through email. So answers and things like that. Parents, we will need you to check your email. I will email all kinds of things. The teachers will email as well. You will get information as you go through this, but you need to be able to check your email, both from the student and from the parent. There is no credit recovery at all. So if a student fails a course, there is no way for us to do credit recovery like there is in the high school. So the student would have to retake that course all over again or enroll back into the in-person school to be able to take that as credit recovery, or take in-person summer school to regain those credits. There are no honors or AP level courses available through the VLA. It's just regular English, regular math, regular science type classes. There needs to be an incredible level of support. Parents, you need to play a very important role to make sure that this is successful. I almost recommend that if there's a parent, there needs to be a parent at home full time. So if you work from home, or if you're able to be at home, that would be best, especially at the younger grade levels. Those younger kids need help. And then you are committing to the VLA for the rest of the school year. It's very difficult to transition back during the middle of the school year, so we're asking that this be a commitment for the entire 2022-2023 school year. Our expectations are, 1, you're logging in and completing lessons every single day as you go through. Once again, I said, if a student gets behind, it's very, very difficult to get back. Stay current with that pacing guide. You need to make sure, especially at the grades 6 through 12 level, that you are scheduling tests to be able to take those, and you are not waiting until the last minute to schedule tests, because we only have so many scheduling blocks that we can do the tests in. And at grades 1 through 5, you are attending those Zoom meetings on a regular basis to make sure you're getting the instruction piece. And then parents and students, if you need help, you are requesting help, either from me, from Mrs. Myers, from either the special education teachers, or from the PAS teachers as we go through. For support, what do we have? Edmentum, grades 1 through 5. First level is the Edmentum teacher. Then it's Mrs. Myers. And then if your student has on IEP, it's Mrs. Williams. And then myself are available as well too. Apex Learning, grades 6 through 12. You have your Apex teachers. You also have Apex tutors that are available after hours. So we know most high school kids and older kids like to do stuff outside of or in the evenings. So those tutors are available through the chat inside of Apex. There is also tech support. So if you can't get on the platform or anything like that, you can email their tech support. You have the PAS mentors, which are our teachers. You have Mrs. Nelson if you're on an IEP, and then myself as well. So once again, I want to reiterate, parent support is huge with this. There is a great need for parent-guardian support at home. Students are working without a teacher and need that adult. So this has to be a partnership between Pickerington School District, the student, the parent, and Edmentum and Apex to be successful as we go through. A few other items to think of. The curriculum is grade level and course specific. We have little control of the curriculum and little ability to adapt or to modify it. Special education services are available, but they're limited as compared to in-person services. There are no RTI services or intervention services available at the VLA. Our gifted services are very limited. There is no gateway services available through VLA. and our EL services are limited. So once again, we're kind of a stripped down version of what we can do in person to be able to offer it at the VLA. Lastly, a few things. You are committing to the VLA for the rest of the semester, rest of the year, unless if your student does not log in for 109 hours of school time, that would be about 15 and a half school days, by Ohio Revised Code, we are required to remove that student once they trigger the 109 hours from virtual school and place them back into the in-person building. So this is where keeping up with things and going on a daily basis as you're doing things is very, very, very important. We have had students that have triggered this 109-hour rule, and we have placed them back into the in-person school. And there is no way for you to get back into the VLA in the next year or so. Once you're out, you're out. All of our courses are semester-based. If a student fails the semester, there's no credit recovery. Student would have to attend an in-person summer school to regain that possible credit. A couple of helpful hints from our teachers. We need to set a weekly plan. We need to make sure we're reading all of our emails, parents and students. We need to check the Apex Message Center. There's a special button on Apex that shows you every single message that every teacher has ever sent from Apex, which is really nice to see. Send emails if you have problems. Our Apex Edmentum teachers have different rules than traditional what our Pickerington school teachers were, so make sure you know what their rules are. Read over their syllabus that they'll give you on day one. All of the Apex tests are open note, but you have to take notes. You can't get back into the system to look at the readings or anything like that, so take notes as you go through. Check feedback from assignments. All the teachers will also always give you feedback along with the grade. And make sure that you're utilizing the Apex tutors through the chat function after hours. You need to make sure you schedule time with our mentors for assessments. Please make sure you don't wait till the last minute on those. Students on an IEP will still get services, but once again, those services can be limited. And students can work at their own pace, but help is only available during the regular school hours. So please make sure that if you need help, you're checking in with our teachers as you need to. So what's next? So if you still believe that VLA is the best educational environment for your student, please complete the VLA waitlist registration form. This does not guarantee that your student is in the VLA. We have to look at things such as staffing limits, our special education caps, Edmentum and Apex licenses available, and the maximum limit allowed into our VLA per contract language. So once we get this done and once the registration form closes for the VLA, we will go through that. We will select the students that can be in the VLA. We will contact those parents and let you know that they are in. And then with that, you have to attend an orientation, an in-person orientation where we'll go through this in more detail. The student and the parent has to attend, okay? If you do not attend that orientation by Ohio Revised Code, we are not allowed to allow you into the Virtual Learning Academy. So please make sure you look at those dates. That information's on the website. It's also available on the registration form. And then after that happens, then we'll let you know if you're definitely in. If you don't make it in, you'll stay on the wait list. The wait list will close on the first day of school. We will not allow anybody else into the VLA during the actual semester. It's just too hard to transition from one curriculum to the next. So with that, thank you so much for your interest in the VLA. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us at vla@plsd.us. Once again, vla@plsd.us.